Hello, lovely beings. Here I am again with a new episode of the Human Light Bulbs podcast. And today I've met you, Silver, here. I'm very happy to have you here. And I always talk with people that share their light, their unique light with the world. And I myself am a inspirational teacher, yoga, meditation teacher, energy healer courses. And I also want to share inspiration and love and truth into this world. And you have such a uniqueness about you, and I really like how you bring all sorts of things into this world. So thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
And what is the thing for people that don't know you? What is the things that you do that lights up the world for people?
Well, what I'm known for is street performing in the New York City, mostly at Union Square. I just had a thing. I gotta express it. It didn't matter how it was expressed. The energy behind it was silliness, joy, weirdo. And you notice if you go into any city in this world, people have the face, they don't want to talk to you. Unfortunately, you'd think if their city would inspire community, but it doesn't. It does the opposite. It inspires people just withdrawn. I don't like dealing with all these people. Everybody said, I'm tired of people. I'm tired of people. They all want to lock themselves in the apartment. Of course they're tired of people because they got a job with people. They're probably in a job where people are getting angry at them. I don't know. When I worked a job, it was scary. Like a job in an office, it's people over. It's not a good environment. And how are people being able to evolve through that environment? So I couldn't take it anymore. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm going to try to find my own way. And that's what I've been doing since 2005. I perform on the street, and it's people, I got out there and I did these silly things and it made people laugh. And that's what I like. I like doing that. But people don't realize that the person performing is a person too, and is sensitive, vulnerable. You start thinking that people are, we're learning as a society that people on media don't have superpowers. I guess the media gives you this presence or whatever, but the reality is we're all human. And I guess media and shows, they kind of do this magic where you think that this person, but I had that moment. But it's just the world is always going through these moments where people are put on pedestals, and then all of a sudden, that it's celebrity culture. All of a sudden, the pedestal is taken out, and you realize again, like me, that I don't know anything. That's what people put people on pedestals, as part of the celebrity culture, and then it's taken away. But you start to realize it's not about we're in a culture. I'm talking a lot. I don't know if I'm
That's what we're here for.
Okay, well, we start to realize we're not in this culture where it's not about the celebrity. It's about I obviously I wanted to make it. I wanted to do something really big. I wanted to inspire love consciousness. And I thought I put in threw some rocks, and I created some ripples, and it's good. So I did good work. But at the same time, my ego is like, well, I don't want to be living at my parents' house anymore. You're still struggling as an artist. You got some work, and I'm established as an artist, but I'm not established as I'm making a living. I'm doing my best to try to make a living doing this. And that's always a struggle as an artist, right? You want to inspire love consciousness, but we're all like in a day. Oh yeah, well, it's still this fucking numbers game.
Yeah, and I think
Numbers game that we don't like. some people are really good at this numbers game, and it attacks with their heart, and they play the game and they love it. But we're all forced to play the numbers game. Every single person. So yes, you gotta do it. I mean, the thing that I don't get, and I have trouble doing, is you gotta see money as energy and somehow love it, because, and there's a deep subconscious that doesn't love money because it doesn't love what it does. Maybe it's not money, maybe it's the people doing it to each other, but it makes everybody, well, do you have money? Are you important? If you're only important if you have numbers behind your name.
Yeah, and I think that is more like old consciousness, and I think it will change.
It's old consciousness, but it's still like the new consciousness is here, but the old consciousness still like lingers, and it's just like and it affects everybody. It affects everybody, you, me, and we shouldn't judge each other at the same time. We're all trying to evolve here, but we're all being affected. Like eventually you're gonna hear somebody say, well, you gotta get a job, you gotta get work. Yeah, let's just push and fucking squish the soul of our lives. Or like the soul strives for mysticism and magic, and magic exists only, it exists, like stories create magic, music creates magic, art creates magic. It's like, and somebody would judge that and say, oh, I'm a stupid, crazy person. You don't know what you're talking about. And you're just crazy. And well, let's shut you out. Let's shut you out. Let's shut you out because you yell too much. Shut you out. You're one of the crazy people as the homeless. Let's shut them out. And, and I've been called the homeless person, mentally insane, or on drugs. And I'm just trying to be free. I'm trying to be free, exist. And you know what it is? I avoid groups because sometimes the group doesn't realize they're pushing out a single person. They're judging a single person. And we're still very primitive. So I'm very scared around in this world. I got to be very careful. Everybody does. This is whatever's going on in here. I know it's part of the conscious collective. It's not just me. It's not just you. Somewhere around, along the line, you got to get over yourself. And if you're mishkamash, and you just got to, you got to get over yourself.
Yeah, sorry, and trying to free people, but not everybody understands that, has that level of, like, not everybody understands what is happening.
You free people by freeing yourself. So you gotta find a way to be unapologetically you. And all my freaking life, I've made the same mistake over and over again. I say sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like right now, I feel sorry. Am I talking too much? I'm sorry.
That's why I just want you to be you. And
I want you to be you, because this is your podcast, and and there's the bigger picture. This is about us working together here. So you want me to be me, but tell me when to stop. And you want to,
yeah, but I will also ask you questions and where where it goes, but also give you the time and energy to make your story, to really say what you need to say. So,
but my story is about the human spirit, and that in today's world, people don't get a regular amount of healthy validation. Every single person. And me being a performer might be as a result of that. Like I didn't, like maybe I admit, maybe I had daddy mommy issues and sibling issues, and I went to special ed, so that affected a bit. Like I was picked out of the kindergarten class, and that might have affected me. Like he said, you're a little slower than the average student. You got to stay back. And that was good. I needed to stay back because I had a special ed teacher that gave me a lot of good one-on-one. And that was it. I needed one-on-one. I still do. but people, you know, they don't see me as a special ed student anymore. I'm a regular person. And that's, you know, everybody gets to be seen as a regular person now, except, you know, at the very end, we're regular and we got a spirit. And at the end, it's not the mind and the body and this physical world. It's, are we connecting at a spiritual level? Can we just get over our bodies? Can we get over, like, we should be able to be naked in the summer when it's very hot and walk around, and people shouldn't, you know, there was a very strong woman who decided one day in New York City to show her chest during the hot summer and just walk around shirtless. And she got in trouble many times until finally it was freedom of expression in New York. And now women are allowed to go around shirtless. You know, that was nobody. I don't even see how bad I am. I don't even remember the woman. I could Google it right now. You know, what she did was liberate she'll get a lot of credit, but she liberated New York, you know, just by walking around with her breast. Do you mind if I look?
Yeah, you can look.
But you asked me questions. This is your podcast. I don't want to.
So I, like you said, like having mommy and daddy issues, and also, but I think everybody has those.
Yes, and it's a faux pas. Don't you know? Nobody should be judged. We should all just learn to cry and just get out our mommy and daddy issues.
Yeah, but just knowing that you have those, but also because you have those, you're a crack in the normal programming, because then you like wake up and then you see things differently, and then you become also more like authentically. So it was also necessary for you to become who you are.
Yes, it was part of all this feeling of uncomfortable and all the unconsciousness of the world has made me inspired. Like, let's, you know, I'm trying to do something that will wake people up. I'm inspired. I don't want, you know, for the children of the future, I don't want them to deal with what I dealt with, which was extreme neglect and unconsciousness. And I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. We're all just born. We're pushed into this world. Nobody knows what's going on. And we should be a lot nicer to each other and kinder to each other and give each other compassion and give each other a space to learn what's going on. Maybe I've messed up in the past, but how do we learn? We just learn by putting ourselves in the shit and redoing it over and over again. And that's one thing that stuck to me. You got to face your fears every day. You got to learn that it's hard. It's difficult. It's painful, but you got to push yourself into uncomfortable moments every day. That's the only way that any of us will evolve. You can't be like, it's great that we're doing this and that people will watch us, but I hope that anybody that's watching this right now, why don't you just be inspired to do your own thing? It's about your own script and your own story. And the greatest thing about all this is it's a renaissance. I'm meeting you all the way from Spain, but you're from, you're Danish or
Holland. I'm from Holland, Netherlands.
Holland is that, just specifically Holland, right?
Yeah.
And what's the Copenhagen? That's in
that's Denmark. It's like
Denmark.
You have next to Holland, you have Germany, and then on top of Germany, you have Denmark.
Okay, so
it's not that far away.
Is it Amsterdam like the international hub?
It's the capital of Holland. Yeah. So it's a really cool town as well, Amsterdam. But I wanted to live more like in nature and where it's warmer. So I lived also in Portugal off-grid for a long time, and now in south of Spain. And so that's why for me it's like really like interesting for you that you live in New York, and where it's like very busy all the time, so many people, and that is like a different way of dealing with the world. If you would be totally like, you have now more and more people want to live like off-grid and homesteads or sustainable. But I feel like the people that really are living in those big cities, bringing like a new consciousness, like for them, it's like even more difficult sometimes.
It's difficult because the city has a strong current, and it's not consciousness, it's money. And I've been against that my whole life, but I can't. I gotta, it's like you gotta learn to love the things you hate spiritually. Because if you have this thing you hate and then this thing you hate, then it's inside of you. It's like these little hate demons, and hate is a strong word anyway. So I mean, I don't like unconsciousness. I don't like being treated with disrespect. Nobody does. And you know, New York City is such a fast culture. It's just like people are like, I really love you, but you're talking too slow right now. That you'll see that in people's faces. And that just, I don't, you know, I can't work with people that way because they'll be too fast and I'll be too slow for them. And so I don't want to adapt to be fast like them. I want to be able to be, we're creating our own flower garden. That's what it's about. And I mean, New York City is a scary place because either you do it or you don't. You really, and just one little stupid mistake can ruin everything. But I don't know if that's true. I'm creating abstract futures right now. So reality is just follow your heart. And if the project fails, it's okay. I mean, the reality is we don't need to do any, you know, I have this dream and I want to create this renaissance. Well, the thing is, the renaissance is already here. It doesn't need me. It doesn't need me. But the renaissance needs you because it needs your unique take on it. So it confuses you. Like the city says, we don't need you. Fuck off. And then all of a sudden you do something amazing in the city and they're like, oh, we need you, but only for this 1 minute or 10 minutes or whatever. But then I'm making the mistake that I need to do stuff because the people need me. But then you realize that they do need you a little bit. They do need you. So we're all in a fun house. Do they need me or do they don't need me? So I've decided to commit. I need everybody. I need you right now. I need you.
And then
everything else I could shut off. We can only live in the moment, really. Everything I just talked about is an illusion. This is it. And you're not talking again, so I'm concerned.
No, I wanted to say, because I love hearing you. And I love how you inspire others to be themselves as well. Because if everybody is just being themselves, then you give other people also permission being themselves. That's
what I want. At the heart of hearts, I don't care who you are, what your identity is. I'm throwing identity out. I want you to be yourself, and I want you to grow like a sunflower because I want to grow like a sunflower. Right now, I'm using the sunflower instead of the lotus flower metaphor, but sunflowers are pretty. That's an American flower. I see them everywhere. That's one thing that's pretty about America. Then there's also hawks and bald eagles. I mean, America's not the greatest country, but no country is the greatest country. At least every freaking country has done something crooked.
Yeah, and every country has different have their good sides and the bad sides.
Yeah,
and like you said, crooked things as well. Like,
we're not a country anymore. If you go to New York, you're in international Wawa land. No, but there are small groups everywhere. There are subcultures of it's cities, and the internet is bigger than it's ever been. This is a renaissance. All you got to do in today's renaissance is make your own story for the village. So there's community. The sun patch has got to grow. People got to, somehow we're all connecting. I don't know. A lot of times I'm like, should I even be here? Some reason I was in special ed. I know there was a lot of mercury poisoning in the world, in the pollution, a lot of metal, aluminum. We're just fucking up big time, making products highly toxic. And we're just going industry, industry, industry. And I don't know, our computers are radioactive. So what are we going to do about that? There's nothing to do except accept all the pollution. And I have to accept that maybe the pollution created, maybe that's why I have special ed. I don't know. But it's just, at the end of the day, it's just a label. And I'm just energy, and I'm doing my best to evolve. And I can't use that as an excuse, just like anybody else. But at the same time,
And there is possibilities to detox.
I don't know.
yourself.
It's like a card, right?
Yeah.
I use it to say, well, look, can you just be slower for me? I was born with this. But at the same time, I don't want to use it as an excuse. So, oh, that guy was special ed. He does, you know what I mean? It just, at the end of the day, we got to find a way. We're all equals. We're all equals. So we're working to get, we got the new shift in consciousness is that we're working together.
Yes, and we're learning from each other, and
we're learning from each other.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, what should I learn from you?
It's okay. Well,
What did I say?
I do a lot of detoxing from the heavy like metals and stuff. So I also share things with people about that, like what they can do about that, like what kind of herbs they can use, and and I'm very much about like helping people free from all levels, like in your mind, in emotions, in your physical body. I'm very much also about the physical body with yoga and there's like I want to enhance like all levels, zeg maar. Like I want to be like as free as possible as I can be, and help others to free themselves also. So I have like different tools where I help people with, like can be yoga, can be meditation, can be energy healing, can be energy healing courses that I give. I do a lot of talks and interviews, and I just want to unfuck people's brains.
Unfuck them.
Yes.
Because a lot of times to unfuck a brain, you just got, I mean, at the end of the day, you're giving them tools, but at the end of the day, they gotta put something on a schedule at least once a week that will scare the shit out of them. Which might be going, you know, the first time I went to an open mic, it scared the shit out of me. So it might be going to an open mic. That's why I like people performing. We got to perform in front of each other. Variety shows, that to me, that's the ritual. That's the everybody gets to perform their ritual in front of everybody. That's why I love variety show format. You could theme them differently. Like this has a different theme, that has a different, but at the very basic level, we're just here to see everybody do something unique and different. You know, everybody has a voice, and everybody's voice will be heard. I mean, it'll be heard, but it'll only be heard if people shut off live stream television.
But it's really like, yeah, that, because that is like numbing your mind, and other things are opening your mind. So it's like really,
right. Performance needs more from the audience, and the performer needs to involve the audience. They're both, at the end of the day, somehow the audience and the performer become, it's almost like the audience is performing for the performer and the performer is performing for the audience, but it's a silly game. But
I also think
it works because it allows one person to be presented as a mythological figure or a god or it's poetry. It's real. It's like it'll I mean, it's happening already. I mean, a lot of people are doing their solo show, but I'm about building the variety network, because if the variety, you know, the shortest variety act is 5 minutes. So if, you know, or 3 minutes,
And you
you
have it
know,
now on Wednesdays, huh? In New York, you have the show.
what?
On Wednesdays, no? In New York, you have a variety show.
Oh yeah, it's every
Yeah.
Wednesday, 8 p.m. I put a lot of work into it and a lot of love, and I want all the performers to have an opportunity to like work out their shit in front of an audience. And that's what it's about. I mean, you only get better if you keep working in front of an audience. You know what it feels like. So I'm doing my best to build opportunities for other people in hopes that it'll help me in the future. So,
and it's also when it's like you have that unique expression, people are like, it's like they don't know, like it's like the unknown, and like sometimes it brings uncomfortable in themselves, and like it opens up them, and that's why it's
exactly.
also so beautiful.
Yes. Yes. It opens them up. If other people are being silly, other people have permission to be silly too. So I'm afraid every time I do the show because a show is very vulnerable. It's desperate it needs an audience. And if it doesn't have an audience, then it's then I don't know, then you're like stuck with the idea, well, eventually down the road, I got to make sure there's an audience. So I hope people come this Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah.
Yes, come whenever you are in New York, go to a show. And yes, let's
I mostly post the show stuff on Instagram and stuff.
yes, I'll put your links on Instagram and Facebook underneath here. If you ever come to New York, then go to the show, and yeah,
Around Renaissance, it's inspired.
yeah, and also we
You
are
you got to be inspired, even though the majority of the city is not inspired. But I guess instead of seeing that they're not inspired, I have compassion. Oh, they must have a really hard work day.
Yeah, people, a lot of times people don't know, and I think also myself, I also didn't know. I was also fully focused on work until I got a burnout. And then now I see how much energy it costed, like my everyday work. And a lot of people don't even know that, how much energy it costs them, because they don't have the other reality that they have a lot of energy.
Right.
So that's why we also have to let people know that there's different realities out there, and different perspectives, and different ways of being and doing and feeling.
Exactly.
And, and it's there and it's coming, and more people will understand.
Different realities.
Yes.
Stored in every single brain, there's a different reality. Like my reality has become like, oh, this is too much. The world's becoming too fast. Everybody's being thrown out like they don't exist. This is nonsense. We got to stop this. The speed of the world. That's what's going on. I'm like, whoa, am I supposed to catch up to this?
No, I think it should be more simpler and more slower.
Yeah, so that at least I can supply that for my show and space for that for the people. I'm confused and mixed up just like anybody else. I mean, I don't know what I am. Who cares? You just got to keep committing to be you and not get discouraged. Not everybody's going to like what you do. And then the reality is, if you invest in yourself and you say you want to build what you're doing, it'll build. Everybody's asking everybody, oh, go invest your time and your energy in NFTs. Well, if you spend years on NFT, eventually you'll have a virtual currency that makes a lot of money. Eventually, right? Well, you might as well just, if it's fast, if it can happen like that, if you could, without having to focus on that and let it grow and on its own. But the reality is you're the garden. You got to grow your seed and grow with people and figure out it's about all the connections you make, and you learn that over and over again until you really learn that. And right now with these two shows, I'm trying to make deep connections with people, because if I die and if I die right now, I'll know about 5 people, which is enough. And that'll be, I could die right now. Maybe I don't need, I don't know. I'm doing the show to make it easier for other people. If I could do that, provide a service for other people, a service will be provided for me. I don't know. Maybe,
That's
but maybe,
anyone.
I don't know. Spiritually, you're supposed to do things without expecting fruition. So maybe I'm making a mistake here.
Well, the intention is there to be of service to others. So that is like the intention is like, it's about the intention that you have, like to
Yes,
inspire
I
and
gotta be
being of
I'm
service.
gonna be of service to others without expecting fruition. And I'm only gonna use my energy to make the greatest love buzz possible.
And knowing that all the love you give out will come back and is coming back in all different ways.
Yes, always.
Multiplied. And this
Well,
system will change at one point, but
the system starts with you.
yeah,
We have to
anyway.
change. If we can acclimatize our own minds, then we don't even have to worry about the system. The system doesn't even affect us.
No, yeah, because then you're more free, and then you don't feel limited by it anymore so much.
Right. Because as far as I'm concerned, the system doesn't exist. We're only dealing with moment to moment transactions here. Maybe transactions is the wrong word, but it was moment to moment interaction.
Yes, and that is amazing. So thank you so much.
Yay!
I think you're brilliant, and I really like. I love how you view the world and what you do and see and what you're like bringing, and and thank you for like I watch your already from Facebook so many videos that you had. Like I really like you inspired so many people. And a lot of times we don't even know how many people we inspire, because a lot of times people you don't always hear it back, but just know that you do.
I know that I do.
Mm.
I've done my work. As far as I'm concerned, I could just stop doing what I'm doing. I did good work, but I don't know. I guess it's the artist spirit. I feel like I'm not done yet. I still got like at the very least, I want to be working in performance often. And I guess I want to create something that's my own. So that's what I'm doing. I'm creating something that's my own.
But if you're a creative being, then creation comes like you being inspired, and then more things will come. So always. So
exactly. I'm inspired.
Yes, very good. Me too.
Yes.
So we're being inspired beings. Let's inspire other beings as well to be themselves and to be as silly as they want to be, and to be free. And so is there anything that you want to say as last, that you really say what you want to say to people, how to deal with this reality that are struggling?
The best way to deal with this reality is if something happens that discourages you, the sooner you move forward. Maybe you need a day of rest, and that's good too. But the sooner you move forward, the better. And then you could just worry about the next chapter. And then you realize you start to, the more chapters that you're dealing with or things that you're dealing, you start to realize, well, this is part of life. It throws you shitballs, and somehow you use your creativity to grow flowers in the shit ball, and then it's a flower ball.
Yes, let's all transform into your
right. Mariana Williamson wrote something, love everything, because it's actually the energy of lack of a better word I can find is God, is the energy of God, which is within. It is the energy of God is to love everything. So that means love all the things that you don't like about it. Start with yourself first and start loving all the things that you don't like about yourself, all the energies that you don't like about yourself? Because really, we think we don't like that person or this person, but whatever that person triggers, it's inside yourself. And somewhere you got to cradle it. You got to see it as be compassionate to your own parts.
Yeah, it starts with yourself, like loving yourself.
Starts with you.
Yeah, and starting and loving, being more love, and then you bring that love into the world, like on your
Yes.
way. Yes. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank me. Thank you, everybody.
Are we ready?
Yes,
to take on this day? Are we
yeah,
ready?
we're saying hi to the people.
Hi, people.
Hi, people. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here.